There's going to be a couple of us cheering today. Please listen to every speech. I want to introduce my co-chair, Niall Ashcroft from Manchester, who stood out many, many times against the Nazis for many years. And they keep saying that Muslim women can't speak for themselves. They won't stand up for themselves. Well, they've never met Naila. So Naila, so I want to make a hand over to Naila. Over.
Hello, and assalamu alaikum. So, I think it's great that I've been given an opportunity to speak, because let's be honest, I'm kind of submissive here. As a traditionally submissive Muslim woman, I thought it was really important that we are at the forefront of this demonstration, because those Nazis and those bigots think that they have a right to push me off my streets. Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! And can I just say, it's absolutely fantastic that people are out. People are still joining this demonstration. And let's be quite honest, those Nazis over there, those racists, they think they are the majority, but we have proved today that we speak for the representative of working class people in Britain today. We are black, we are white, we are Asian, we are Muslim, we are non-Muslim, we are Jews, we are atheists, we are young and old, and we represent the working class, and that's something to celebrate. So we have got a number of speakers, and I'm really proud to announce our first speaker. You know, they tell us, you know, Muslims, you know, there's a problem with us. We're not very tolerant of other faiths and other groups. Well, you know what? I'm really proud that our first speaker here today is going to be Naomi from the Jewish Voices for Labour.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, brothers and sisters, this is amazing. A few weeks ago, a few of us were here, and honestly, there were a lot of them. It felt like they are many, we are few. Well, we're not going to let that continue to be the case, are we? Right, I'm glad to hear that, because this is really important. Now, yesterday, I'm sure that a load of you were on the anti-Trump rally. It was brilliant, wasn't it? It was absolutely amazing. And there were some fantastic, witty, good-humoured, human slogans, great stuff like, oh, I don't know, another brick with no wall. Remember that one? That was a good one. But one of the most important slogans I came across was this one, and it said, if you ever wondered what you'd have done during the rise of the Nazis, you're doing it now. You get the point? You get the point? This is really serious. We're in a situation now where we have a global phenomenon of a white supremacist right on the rise across the world. Right? So, since 9/11, the war on terror was unleashed against Muslims around the world, wasn't it? And it's great to see today we have Muslims, we have Christians, we have Jews, we have people of no faith, we have gays, we have straights, we have trans people. We are the people. Okay, what? Yeah. Okay. Right, we've got a challenge here, guys. Let's tell them loud and clear. Whose street? Our street. 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 Okay, if you can hear, if you can focus, let's carry on. Brexit, as we know, unleashed a new wave of bigotry. We've had Donald Trump daring to criticise the Mayor of London because he's a Muslim, Sadiq Khan. We've had Tommy Robinson, you know all about him. Loads of speakers have told you about him. You've got Geert Wilders in the Netherlands. You've got Steve Bannon coming over from the States to tell us how to behave. In Italy, lists are being drawn up of Roma people. This is staggering, this is terrifying. And anti-Semitism is clearly on the rise. In Poland, there have been terrific, terrifying anti-Semitic marches and demonstrations. In Hungary, the Jewish financier George Soros has been targeted, not because he's a rich financier, but because of his support for causes that the fascist right do not approve of. They accuse him of being like a puppet master, bringing in Muslim immigrants to destroy Christendom. This is serious, anti-Semitic, dangerous stuff. Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, came out with the most chilling quote recently. I know it's difficult, but try and listen carefully to this one. He said, "We are fighting an enemy that is different from us, not open, but hiding. Not straightforward, but crafty. Not honest, but base. Not national, but international. Does not believe in working, but speculates with money. Does not have its own homeland, but feels it owns the world." I mean, that could have been Hitler, that could have been Goebbels, but that was in March this year in a European country. What are we doing about this? We are going to unite to combat this threat. Now, one thing that's really important to me, as a Jew, is that we have to be seen to unite all the minorities. What's going on over there is a threat to the whole of civil society. Our civil liberties are in serious danger now, right? All of the 99%, we've got to be united. And anti-Semitism is one of those forms of racism that we're going to have to face. There's no hierarchy. All racisms are equally abhorrent. So, we've got to learn that it's possible to chew gum and walk at the same time. You can be consistently opposed to anti-Semitism, vigorous in opposing it, and you can support the struggle of the Palestinian people at the same time. Because their struggle is part of the anti-colonial struggle that we are all part of. Right? So defend Jews and defend the Rohingya. Combat prejudice against Jews as Jews and support justice for Palestinians. There's a lot of work going on about this. I'll just refer you, because I've got to stop in a second, to the slogan that Jewish Voice for Labour has on its banners. This is a quote from Marek Edelman, who was a great leader of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. He knew that Jews have to fight alongside other victims of oppression and not to cut themselves off. And what he said was that Jews, and that applies to everybody, should be always with the oppressed and never with the oppressor. Thank you, everybody. Tommy, you say scum. Tommy! Scum! Robinson, scum! Robinson, scum! Oh, come on, guys. Alright, we're going to have our next speaker, because clearly you guys need warming up. So our next senator, Tala Ahmed, he's from the Muslim Council of Britain.
Friends, colleagues, brothers, sisters, assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. I can't tell you how excited I am to see so many of you. So many of you, not just because you've come today, but after yesterday, we've made it clear who these streets belongs to. It belongs to the people of this country, people who love diversity, people who love pluralism, people who love democracy. These streets do not belong to the fascists or the racist or sexist or anti-gay or anti-Jews. It belongs to people who call for unity. It gives me great pleasure to speak to you on behalf of Muslim Council of Britain. But also, I feel extra proud that I co-chair this fantastic organization that hosts this march today. But what is great is that we're growing from strength to strength. Yes, the fascists may be growing louder and louder, but we are growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is us that will have the ultimate say, not the fascists and the bigots. Now, I'm not going to take too long of your time. I know we've got a fantastic line of speakers. But I just want to thank you once again for coming out today on this fantastic day and making it known that this street belongs to us and not to the fascist of Tommy Robinson. Thank you very much.
It's much sure the fascists can hear us up the road. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Black and white, unite and fight, smash the FLA. Whose streets? Our streets. 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 And the two of us who won the demonstration yesterday is quite clear, and to everyone around the country, that the anti-racists are the majority. The 250,000 people in Trafalgar Square yesterday shows the strength of the movement against Trump, and it's the same movement we have to turn against the alt-right that he is enabling, and the fascists that are at the core of the FLA, the fascists that are on the loose in Italy, where Sebi is on record as for rounding up Roma people, where there's been a doubling in hate crimes over the past month alone in Italy, where black people are living in fear in that country. We can't let that happen in Italy, and we certainly cannot let it happen in Britain, where we have a long tradition of united anti-fascist struggle that unites the Jewish people, the Muslim people, the trade unionists, the liberals, the communists, everybody who is against the vile fascists that want to recreate the Holocaust. But to get there, they're going to start with the easy pickings first, as they see it. So they're going for the Muslims first. They're talking about freedom of speech as a cover to whip up hatred against Muslims in this country and across Europe. Sadly, they seem to be succeeding in some parts. But we know that once people are alerted, as we have been today, and across Europe, we can start to build a movement against them. In Berlin, a month ago, 70,000 people marched against the fascists that are trying to rebuild in that country. So viva to our brothers and sisters in Germany. In Spain and Catalonia, there have been mass demonstrations against the fascists. Similarly, in places like Holland, and to a lesser extent, sadly, in France, where people are confused, continues to be confused, sadly, by the fascists, going on about freedom of speech and defence of French culture and French republicanism against the supposed religiosity, is that a word, of Islam, but it's apparently undermining the secular traditions of France. Don't fall for those lies in France, and we're not going to fall for them here from the likes of Tommy Robinson, who tries to pretend he's defending democracy. They're doing exactly what the Nazis did in the 1930s. They are using democracy to destroy, hopefully as they see it, democracy. So we can't let them repeat those mistakes of history, and we've got to learn the mistakes of history and make sure that we maintain a united struggle against the fascists. Whatever our differences on other subjects, we are united. For the alt-right are a danger to civil society, a danger to democracy. And we're going to stand by our Muslim brothers and sisters who are being attacked on the streets of this country and around the world. We're going to stand up to the likes of Trump putting children into cages on the Mexican-US border. And we're going to make ourselves heard. We are the many, not the few. And we've got some more speakers now lined up. So back to Naila.
All right, thanks for that, Gary. And that was Gary Barlin from Black Lives Matter. He's very modest, he didn't even introduce himself. So our next speaker, so we've had a Muslim, we've had a Jew, so it's only right that we should have Reverend Stephen Saxon, who's going to say a few words about why he's here today.
Hello everyone, I'm Stephen Saxby. I am Labour's parliamentary candidate. is not welcome here. You know, we made history yesterday, didn't we? We had 250,000 people on the streets against Donald Trump. And we made it clear that Donald Trump is not welcome here in the UK. He may have emboldened the FFL and others, but let's be clear, he is not welcome and their racism is not welcome here. You know, if history teaches us one thing, it's this. It doesn't always go in one direction. Isn't it incredible that the first black president of the United States was replaced with a racist like Donald Trump? And it shows us that we need to keep up the pressure against racism in each and every generation. You know, I'm proud to be a Labour candidate under the leadership of Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn, who has always been on the right side of history. A leader who, when he won his leadership contest, came here and spoke to welcome refugees. A leader who has consistently stood up against racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and the nasty, hostile environment politics of Theresa May. Jeremy said yesterday that marching against Trump was about free speech, because we need to exercise our right to free speech to say that we do not want our country to be determined by racism. It's about free speech. It's not about the shimmer of free speech claimed by the Football Lads Alliance. We all know that Tommy Robinson is not in prison for free speech. Tommy Robinson is in prison for contempt of court. He's a criminal and he belongs in jail. We need to show today, you know, yesterday was so diverse, wasn't it? It was so beautiful to have people there from many political parties, from the unions, from my own union, Unite, which, as you can see, represents not only blue-collar, white-collar, but also dog-collar workers. People there from across the spectrum of society, different sexualities, different ethnicities. But you know what? The other thing yesterday is that there were lots of people there who'd never been on a demonstration. People there from all walks of life who wanted their voice to be heard. You know, what if we were to have this in every community? If we were able to demonstrate in every single town of the UK that we do not represent racism in this country, that we are intolerant, that we're multicultural, that we respect unity and we respect diversity. As I was coming away yesterday from the demonstration, there was a beautiful group of singers. And what they were singing was this. They were singing, "We've got all the love we need to change our world." And I believe that today. So let's keep making history. Let's keep changing our world. Let's make our world a place of love, unity and diversity, not a world which is marked by nasty, racist hate. Thank you for listening.
All right, and I want to introduce my next speaker, who's a vice president of the UCU, and I just want to say a quick couple of words. This is a union that has been on the forefront of fighting the attacks from the government. People may or may not know about the PREVENT strategy, which means that our lecturers, our teachers, our public sector workers are at the forefront of this policy, which means that they have to, rather than support the very people they deliver a service for, they're reporting or being expected to report on Muslim students. So I'm really proud to introduce our next speaker from UCU. Not only is she a vice president, and someone just said about making history, she has made history. She's the first black woman vice president of the UCU, Nita Singaran.
Wow, thank you everybody. Yes, I am the first Vice President of UCU, so history in the making. It's been a challenge, but it's turning. This is showing you that things are moving in the right direction, and UCU are at the forefront of that. As a trade union, we are affiliated to Stand Up to Racism, and if you are from any other union, please make sure that you affiliate with Stand Up to Racism, because this is what we're trying to do today, making sure that we stand up and be counted. Now, the history of trade unions, we've talked about Cable Street. Cable Street in 1936, where the elite invited the Nazis onto our streets. Does that sound familiar? Are the elite today not inviting, they're inviting Nazis again? Trump yesterday, the demo was fantastic. My daughters were there, and we stood for everything that Trump hates. We're women, we're black, and we're activists. Okay? So Trump, I say to you, in your face, I say to Tommy Robinson and his thugs, in your face, we are not going away. We are standing here. And like I said, Cable Street, those 2,000 fascists that came, there was 20,000 unionists, people gathering, everybody like you, and we stood against them, and we're going to carry on standing against them. The BNP, Nick Griffin, we sent him off. EDL, Tommy Robinson, yet again, we sent them off. And now we've got this new hatred on our streets, but not for long. Because if we stand like this, every time those come, if there's 50 of them, there's got to be 100 of us. Do you understand that? Do not let the activists do the stuff for you. Stand up and be counted like you have today, like you did yesterday, and we will carry on fighting. We have to do this. You all have to do it. Go home, tell everybody, because this is the way to fight them. People say to me, where are you from? I went, well, actually, I'm from Birmingham. And then they say, no, where are you actually from? I says, well, my parents were from India. I says, but I don't have borders. I don't want borders. I'm an internationalist. So, from today, when anybody asks you where you're from, you say, I'm an internationalist. I can go wherever I want. I don't see borders. I don't see barriers. I don't see colours. I don't see anything apart from another human being standing in front of me. So, when you go away today, you are an internationalist, you understand? And you affiliate with Stand Up to Racism, and you be a part of a union. I mean, our unions, there's about 16 million of us, So we need to mobilise as unions, as my union does, UCU, and we have many international projects that we're part of. And my friend here was talking about Prevent. Prevent is everywhere. I am not the state. I am not Border Patrol. I mean, the amount of times that I've been told, you have to do this Prevent training, you have to do this Prevent, and I just kind of delete those messages. I mean, but they'll be coming for me, and I just ignore it, and that's what we need to do. We have to fight as an individual, as collectively as possible. Brothers, sisters, united, unions, united. We have to stop this, and we are stopping it. Go away today, make those changes, affiliate, join up, Stand Up to Racism, and we carry on the fight. Thank you.
Okay, and it's fantastic from one union speaker to the next, because let's be quite honest, the backbone of the anti-racist movement is based on the support that we get from the trade unions. We have a proud history where trade unions have been at the forefront of the fight against racism and fascism, so it's no surprise that we have a whole number of speakers that represent different trade unions here in Britain today. So my next speaker, I'm really proud to introduce is Paul Kavanagh, who's a regional secretary of Unite the Union.
Pete Kavanagh, actually, but it is the right union, Unite the Union. Greetings and solidarity from Unite the Union, Britain's biggest union. Representing those people who drive your buses, those people who look after you in hospitals, those people who build your homes, and those people are from every corner of the world, from every race, every heritage, and every culture, and we're proud of every single one of you. Yesterday, 250,000 people marched through the streets of London and in towns and cities across this country, telling Trump, the racist, misogynist, xenophobic global bully Trump, that he's not welcome here. The man who thought it was fine to pull crying children from their parents and lock them up in cages to stop the infestation of migrants, he's not welcome here. But we've got a bigger problem here on our doorstep, and it's the new rise of the far right, this time in the guise of the so-called Football Lads Alliance. They say they're not political, they're just against extremism and the grooming of children. But of course that's a smokescreen, a disgusting smokescreen, because all of us are against extremism, all of us are against child abuse, all of us are against bigotry. And let's be quite clear, we stand against terrorism wherever it comes from. Whether that's Islamist terrorism, whether it's fundamentalist Christian terrorism, far-right terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism, or state-delivered terrorism, we stand against it all. But the truth is, those behind the Football Lads Alliance have another insidious agenda. And in the finest traditions of the far right, they're preying on the real concerns of working class communities. It is of course right to expose and oppose fascism and racism wherever it rears its ugly head. But we must also get real, sisters and brothers, about the social and economic conditions that give rise to fascism. Inequality, poor housing, lack of education opportunities, 0 hours contracts, shit paying conditions, and yes, a feeling that you're being ignored, not listened to, even sneered at by the establishment and the political classes. We will always challenge racists and those who peddle racism, but we also need to engage with those who are being preyed upon by the hardline racists and fascists. We need to be clear in our opposition, but even clearer about what we stand for and how we're going to get there. Our vision of a fairer society will only be achieved through unity and equality. Unity and equality between workers, unity and equality between women and men, unity and equality between black and white. The usual far-right suspects are using these genuine concerns to build their base. And how better to reach working class men? And yes, they are mostly men, the clue's in the name, Football Lads Alliance, despite the fact that 26% of supporters are now women. What better way to get to these working class men than through football? And on the subject of football, how disgusting it was, how obscene it was to see the right-wing rags talk about how we should be celebrating our young lions, the English team, who represent and celebrate everything that's great about this country, including our diversity. Those same rags that have attacked every minority group in this country, who've attacked asylum seekers and refugees and migrant workers. So we won't take no effing lessons from them. No, sorry, wrong page. I'm just winding up now, folks. I believe it's time for the trade union movement to step up, be more proactive, and yes, take the lead. We will educate our members. We will go into every workplace that we organise in, and we will give our members the counter-arguments, and we will equip our activists with those counter-arguments. We'll be talking about unity and hope rather than hatred and the scapegoating of minorities. And we must redouble our efforts to address the concerns of our members, pointing out the simple truth that it's not the migrants, it's not the blacks, it's not the Muslims, it's not the Jews that are driving down our wages and attacking our terms and conditions. It's the bosses and the offshore tax evaders. It's them that's causing the growing inequality and the devastation of our public services. Let's stand up to the bigots. Let's stand up to the racists. Let's stand up to the bullies. But let's also build a movement that can transform this rotten system and replace hate with hope. Or to put it another way, I'm going to wind up now. No Sieg Heiling on our streets. Our hands are for better things. Hands are for friendship. Hands are for holding. But they're also for raising in the fist of solidarity to build a world as one. Yay! Let's get those fists up. The fists of solidarity to build a world of unity, equality and...
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.